Hey Posse, in this video we're going to look at a grape that almost everybody has heard of. But we're going to look at several things virtually nobody knows about it. It's the Riesling grape. Stay tuned. Hey Posse, my name is Pierre. I'm a sommelier and founder of Asti Wine Consultants. As we're learning more about wine together, I've put together a series focusing on grapes. More specifically, a category of grapes called noble grapes. Out of over 10,000 wine grapes in the world, there are only 18 that are called noble grapes. 9 are white and 9 of them are red. These noble grapes are the backbone of the entire wine industry, and most people have never heard of half of them. In this episode, we're going to look at the noble grape Riesling. This is a more well-known varietal, but my hope is that everyone will learn something new today. Remember, if you join me on this quest to try and taste all these noble grapes, I will certify you as an Asti Wine Noble Grape Aficionado or a Noble Grape Connoisseur. That depends on how many videos you watch. More on that will be available to you at the end of this video and in the description. Alright, here we go. We're going to learn 4 things about Riesling. For those of you who are not familiar with Rieslings, I hope you'll expand your horizon and indulge yourself with this hidden treasure. I think you'll absolutely love it. Now keep in mind, at any time, if you like what you hear, click like, subscribe, and hit the little bell so you'll be notified when there's a new post. And also, share this with your friends. I'm sure they would appreciate it. Are you ready to get on with this fantastic grape? Let's get to it. Number 1, some general trivia. You know, it's really unclear where Riesling was first born, but most believe it was from or hails from Germany, in the region near the Rhine River. The grape was documented as early as the 1400s, and as producers moved their vines up the steeper slopes into poorer soil over time, Rieslings boomed. Now go figure that. They love poor soil. Now when it comes to white wines, it's usually indicated in the top 3 white wines along with Chardonnay and Sauvignon Blanc. Riesling is one of the world's most misunderstood and underappreciated wine grape. It's highly terroir expressive, which means it picks up more on the earth, soil, and climate characteristics than other grapes do, which means it will taste considerably different depending on where it's grown. Something else about Riesling is it's almost never aged in oak. It will be clean and crisp, generally, each and every time. Now, rumor has it that the red skin version of Riesling is the forerunner to the common white Riesling. And also, it has emerged as one of the most collectible white wines around the world. Number 2, where it grows. As you can see on the chart, Germany has the most Riesling vines. The key areas are Mosel, Pfalz, Rheingau, and Rheinhausen. They produce both dry and sweet styles, often fine and delicate. Actually, the best Rieslings grow along the Mosel River on the steep south-facing hills. These wines have a distinctive flavor of slate which is picked up from the soil. Overall, German Rieslings tend to be low in alcohol, let's say 8 or 9%. They're fruity and have ample acid and a touch of sweetness. Australia's Rieslings are some of the driest in the world. They're enamel-shattering acidity. These come from areas like Clare Valley, Eden Valley, as well as the Margaret River. Now in the US, Riesling is grown in most major winemaking states, but its greatest success has been in Washington State and the New York Finger Lake region. Alsace, France, once part of Germany, produces both dry and sweet styles, though it tends to have a much broader mouthfeel, which means it stimulates your mouth with flavors and sensations more than Riesling, say, from Germany. Actually, for more information about mouthfeel, you might want to check out my video, Tasting Like a Pro. Alsace Rieslings tend to be drier with more minerality and are more aligned with the citrus spectrum of the fruit flavors. Austria is another top Riesling producing country where they usually are dry and range from light to fuller bodied. You'll also find some Rieslings growing in South Africa, Chile, Romania, and Moldavia. Personally, I prefer the Alsatian and the Washington State Rieslings because I prefer the drier side. By the way, how are you doing here? Are you beginning to get a handle on the Rieslings? If you are, write Asti in the comments below. Number 3, taste profile. This is a tough one because, as I said earlier, Riesling is highly terroir expressive. It reflects many of the characteristics of the earth, soil, and climate around them. So a Riesling from Washington State is going to taste considerably different than a Riesling from Alsace, France. Just the same, let's give this a go. The one thing that unites all Riesling is that the grape has a super high acidity level. That's high acidity like you would find maybe in lemonade. Beyond that, Riesling can be light or full as far as their body, dry or sweet, delicate or powerful. As you see on the taste profile chart, this aromatic wine offers primary fruit aromas of orchard fruits like nectarine, Honeycrisp apples, peach, pineapples, lemons, and pears. Besides fruit, you'll also smell things like honey, jasmine, beeswax, ginger rubber, along with a striking aroma of something that smells similar to petroleum wax or petrol. Now, as it ages, it will pick up flavors of diesel and lanolin. Now, aging over a decade or more, they can transform into an entirely new and dramatically complex wine. They can develop all kinds of secondary aromas like honey, ginger, wax, nuts, and even mushrooms. Do you see how there are so many different aromas and flavors? That's because it's a chameleon, depending on where it's grown. Number 4, some suggested food pairings. When you think Riesling, think spice. The sweetness and acidity makes a perfect accompaniment to spicy foods like strong Indian or Asian spices. The classic pairing would be like spiced duck leg. As you can see on the food pairing chart, as far as meats are concerned, you have everything from duck to shrimp. All kinds of spices. I would stick with cow's milk cheeses, plus all sorts of roasted vegetables. In this other chart, classification levels, you can see the 6 different classifications. The 3 that you see around the most are along the left-hand side at the top: Cabernet, Spätlese, and Auslese. Actually, the ice wine is also pretty easy to find. You'll need to go to your specialty wine shops to get the Baron Auslese and the Trockenbeeren Auslese. On that note, be sure to check out my website linked below. We do have significant discounts available if you order a half dozen or a dozen bottles. Also, you'll be able to find more unique options than what's available at your local grocery store. Oh, and remember, you can get an Asti Wine Consultant's Noble Wine certification, either the aficionado once you have 6 of the Noble Grape wines under your belt, or you can get the connoisseur certification once you completed all 18 Noble Grapes. For either, you'll also need to watch that introductory episode. There's more information available in the description below. Well, there you have it. Everything you need to know about the Noble Grape Riesling. Make sure you watch these other videos that I talked about earlier. And remember to hit like and subscribe if you got something out of the video. Until next time, cheers.